My name is James Njoroge. I am an artist by profession. Right after campus, going into this art scene is when I realized that my professional life and my Christian life were kind of two different worlds, Because I would go to the studio there and the artists are very bold with their ideas. They're very bold. It comes to, gender, sexuality, their own spiritual ideas. They are very bold about talking about those things, yeah? And I found that among the artists, Christians were more quieter. I was even surprised that there's an artist who was an elder in his church, but you would never know. Never know. When I became a caricature artist, there were not very many people doing caricatures, live drawings, yeah? I think the only person I knew was one called, and he was not doing it, like doing it was just, people would come to him and say, could you do live drawings? And say, yeah, he could, yeah? And so, he's the one who really brought me into this live drawing thing. So at that time, there were not very many people. When I started, I was the only one who was doing it as a kind of a full-time gig. And while I was doing it, there was a lot of demand for it, and I was only one person. And so I got two other artists who I thought who could do it, and I trained them a bit, and then we started doing it. So we were only three. And then I realized that because we had a lot of work and the people were very few, that we needed to train people. And so I got a passion to train other artists to do this thing. Because, see, I name a Pitia Msoto, starving artist, yeah? And and I know how it is to survive as an artist. It's very difficult, yeah? So, it was a way of saying, guys, I think you could do well here. Why don't I just train you and come and do this thing? And that's how I started this group of caricature artists. Started with, a few people that I either saw on social media who I thought would do well in caricatures, and I would WhatsApp them or Instagram them, and then, put them in training, and then we started drawing at malls. Those are some of the artists that I trained. In this training of these artists, I realized that this is an opportunity, kind of reach out to them. And so what happened is that in the last, it's not been very long, maybe 3 or 2 years, me and my wife have been deliberate about praying for them and really looking for opportunities within that group for relationship, okay? So that we can have a place where we could talk, where we are open and we could talk to one another openly. During that time is when I came into Resource Global. The thing that I've learned from RG is the opportunity for influence in the workplace. I think there's notion that, Christianity is mostly found around church and church things. But for a Christian in the marketplace, you have a lot of influence and a lot of, proximity to people who would otherwise not have had the gospel or had the influence of the gospel. From RG, I not just learned, but had stories, real life stories of people who have actually done it. When I had formed this group and we were training them and drawing at malls, and my action plan was really this group. How can I reach out to this group? How can I, engage this group in different things? Really, in a nutshell, is that artists are not very easy people to reach the gospel because they're very idealistic. Sometimes it can be very, confrontational. But my action plan was to kind of form relationships with artists and that way find ways to share the gospel. So what I did is I formed a Caricature Society of Kenya. And in that way, as an avenue, when there's respect between two people, there's avenues to reach out to them. They've been able to visit people, visit their families, pray together. And I've continued over the years.